If you buy a sub $5 million shop, you already assume it's a mess. Nobody has any actual idea what they're doing. They don't have any professionalized lead flow. The managers are like probably doing like a quarter of what they're supposed to be doing. Crazy weather. So it started really raining. And then when I left the office, it was a wild snowstorm. So that it went from raining to like all of that rain turned into snow in the span of like 4 or 5 minutes, which was just crazy to watch. Big, thick flakes, white out. And then the roads have like 2 inches of slush, which I assume over the weekend is just going to be pure ice rink.
I have a question for you about that. So this is a loaded question, but I was talking to somebody today who's in the process of buying a home service business, and they were thinking about coming. And I said, it behoove you to hit the ground running with a lot of these topics and behind the scene knowledge, but they were worried that it's too soon. What's your feeling on that?
The danger is that you can't contain yourself and you change too much too soon. So you know how it should be. So then you get into a place where it's likely not that way and you get tempted to change. So that's the danger. The positive side is that business probably needs a pretty good kick in the teeth. Like I think I've shared in this show before, buying it, I don't think, and I'm open to being wrong or disproven or whatever, but I don't think you can buy a trades business and do no harm for the average human. So if somebody bought us tomorrow, they should walk into that with a do no harm philosophy. We've got a lot of stuff going on. It's 140 people. People understand their roles and it's working. Like that's not something you're going to go in and make a big mess out of. You sort of have to make a mess.
Eventually, yes, there's a don't change too much too fast facet. It mainly revolves around employees. But at the end of the day, I don't think it still changes what you need to know in the long run. Like we knew we needed a comfort advisor system versus a sales tech model. We didn't do that for 3-4 months, but actually we didn't do that for probably a year, almost a year, but we still did it in the long run because we knew that's the correct thing to do because I'm involved in this on the daily. And so I told this individual, I said, honestly, as long as you go into that knowing it, that don't go in there and just destroy the whole company because you'll lose all your employees and you'll keep the culture, feel it out, and then start implementing the easiest parts and get the ball rolling. But I still think it's a good value to have that.
I think so too. I think like when you're buying these small businesses, what's the quick win? What's the thing that you can do that's not going to cause a massive cultural disruption, but can drive growth in the business quickly? Maybe that's like lead flow. You're not going to disrupt anybody's life knowing how to drive more lead flow. You're not going to disrupt anybody's life learning how to book phone calls better. Maybe you get a little bit of information on how to work better with your service managers. That'll disrupt a little bit. I think just like anything, come with questions, or ideally come with one question, but like 1 to 3, like what's the big problem in my business? How do I solve it? And you can do that. Like if the big problem is I'm new to this business and I just need a kind of a rough roadmap for the next 12 months, this could be that.
That's going to be the big part. And then I know we're going to touch on acquisitions and tuck-ins and add-ons and all this kind of stuff as well. That's all applicable too. So if you are in that stage and you're thinking about potentially coming, you're under LOI, maybe you're starting work on drafts of APA, I'd say do it. I think we've all been there. And I wish I had this looking back at that point.
Gives clarity. I think that's what this is all about. I was just on a show, Millennial Investing, the other day, and he asked, like, most of our time that we talked was about my actual job. And then he's like, so what are you doing over there with owned and operated and this workshop thing? And I'm like, here's what we're doing. Like, I wish I had this information when I was $2, $3, $4 million a year. Like, that would have been super helpful.